Hello, and welcome to another Exosome Education Series presentation, brought to you by Exoscientifics.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. My name is Jill Swartz, and I'm the Chief Product and Marketing Officer for Exoscientific. And I am thrilled yet for another opportunity to continue our Exosome Education Series. We are working very hard at building education as the cornerstone of our company's mission, and to bring practitioners like yourself together so that we can learn from one another. And I'm thrilled actually tonight to have such a massive interest that's continuing this education series, because it's very important. As I said, it's our mission, and we have two esteemed guests that we are very excited about. That's going to be leading our talk on exosomes and skincare. So we have Dr. Robin Smith, who is let alone just a global business leader and medical doctor and author of two books in cell therapies, and a true entrepreneur in this healthcare industry. And she really is widely considered one of the most influential and respected figures in the entire field of cell science. So we are privileged to have Dr. Robin with us tonight, and also her business partner and Jody Gurney, who is in herself an innovative business and technology visionary with over 2 decades in this space. So we are, as I said, again, privileged, but I really do feel that way. So I'm so excited that you're able to bring this and the topic that is so interesting to all of our attendees on skincare and exosomes. So I'm going to let you guys take it away. And thank you again.
Great. Thank you, Jill. And thank you everyone for being here tonight and sharing part of your Thursday night with us. We really are excited to be here to talk about the hot topic and the new buzzword exosomes as it relates to skincare. And it's really a new innovation that we think is going to be very important for healthcare beyond just skin in the future. So the way we thought we would do this little time we have together is to talk a little bit about exosomes and why they're so important, and our journey of how we got excited about a particular exosome and company, and just sort of walk you through the process of what we've learned over the last 20 and 30 years that have culminated together in exoceuticals. And then we'll have Matthew Henninger, CEO of Exoceuticals, come on to talk a little bit about their products and answer any questions that you all may have.
And one thing, if I can interrupt,
course.
Robin, I'm sorry. Please, if you have questions as they come up, as this presentation is being delivered, please post them in the chat, because we're going to get to a whole Q&A at the last 15 minutes. So we're not going to stop during it, but we will get to as many questions, hopefully all of them, if possible. So please be sure to put them in the chat.
Great. And as all of you know, exosomes are carrying proteins and growth factors, lipids, nucleic acids. They're this bundle of good things that go from one cell to another cell, really giving signals to influence their biological function. And it's through this intercellular communication that you get to deliver this cargo, which is really important in influencing the cell's cellular function, differentiation, proliferation, angiogenesis, stress response, and immune signaling. And so when I think of exosomes, my mnemonic, of course, having been in medical school, right, we always have the mnemonics to remember everything. It's all the R's, right? These have the ability to help repair and restore and rejuvenate and rebuild and regrow and regenerate and reduce inflammation. So it's really exciting to see this evolve and understand the power of these exosomes. And, we're here today to talk a little bit about, where they come from and all the different things that they can do. One thing just to sort of set the tone is many people really look to understand what is all of this? What's the difference? What's a peptide, a growth factors, exosomes, like how does this all work? How do you make choices and selections of what you want to use in your products and what we want to use, to treat patients and on our skin? And Jody once said that to me, and it was such a good explanation that made a lot of sense is, if you have an engine, you can zoom up your engine. You can use the best, gasoline, whatever high percentage. You can do things to sort of act as a fuel or a booster. But if your engine isn't quite right, you can only go so far. And it's the same in healthcare. It's great to have peptides, it's great to have growth factors, but if your underlying tissue isn't prepped and prepared and ready for rejuvenation, like that engine, that the fuel is only going to take it so far. So when you think of exosomes, this is what has the ability to target, reprogram, and regenerate your tissue. And so that's why we are very focused on exosomes as a tool for skincare and other therapeutics. Is it's a way to help reprogram cells of your body to repair, rejuvenate, and it's through this reprogramming. So that is really the difference between a peptide, a growth factor, and an exosome, and that's what we're here to talk about today. One key thing, similar to stem cells, is all exosomes are not alike. Every different cell of the body and cells of plants and fruits and living organisms have exosomes. They can come from adipose cells, the human stromal cells, amniotic fluid, placental cells, Wharton's jelly, platelets, bone marrow, aloe vera, and many other organs of the body. And where you source the cells has an impact on what those exosomes can do. So exosomes are those out pouches with the cargo, and we are very fortunate in having spent 30 years doing this, really understanding the differences between the sources and where the exosomes come from. And because exosomes are small, they're 20 to 150 nanometers, they can get into places that other things can't get. They can penetrate the skin and other areas to help deliver that cargo to the cells that they want to influence. And again, these cells, they have growth factors, proteins, peptides, nucleic acids, and miRNAs. And so by targeting the cells and by being enclosed by this lipid bilayer, you protect the cargo so that it waits to get to the cell that it's targeting before it delivers it, so that you really are taking this package of goodies and getting it to the cells that you're trying to influence, and then delivering everything within that cargo load. And so the key is the function. How do you use the miRNAs in these exosomes to affect the gene expression of the cells that you're targeting? And really, that is what's critical here, is finding the right exosomes that can impact overall skin health. And what's very unique about the approach we've taken in everything that we've done, whether we're developing therapeutics with stem cells or looking to use exosomes for different therapies, we understand what it is to create a therapeutic. You have to have reproducibility, purity, and know that from lot to lot, from product to product, you have an ingredient that's consistent. And that's where a lot of our careers have been, in understanding how you can develop this and create products. So I'm going to turn this over to Jody to talk about the skin as a source of exosomes and why we think adipose is a critical source.
Hello, and thanks for your time. I know that I don't need to tell this audience that the skin is truly the foundation of our health and aesthetics, and it's the first place that shows the visible signs of aging or unwellness. As Robin said, we've had 30 years to look at different sources, and we were very selective in the source we chose for our exosomes for skincare, because skin itself has this extraordinary superpower. It can regenerate itself. However, as we age, not only chronologically, but through environmental stress and other damage, we lose that ability. We have taken the approach with our skincare exosomes that we're taking it right from the hypodermal layer of the skin, the regenerative engine of skin. You can go to the next slide, please. And as Robin alluded to, the cargo of the exosome is critically important. Exosomes do a lot of things. Where you take it from is the message that it's going to deliver. We have a proprietary miRNA cargo that we have developed that actually targets and combats skin aging, focusing on repairing the barrier, preventing photoaging, hyperpigmentation. It's very important that when you think of exosomes, you think specifically of the exosomal cargo that's being delivered. One of the other very key aspects of exosomes in general is that they are in fact exosomes. You want to show that there is a consistent and reproducible surface protein marker expression, and we've demonstrated this across our manufacturing methodologies to, again, not only confirm identity, but confirm the fact that we can reproduce this so that it is the same exosome every single time. And along the lines of what you want to look for with exosomes, is not only is the source critical in terms of the message that it's delivering, but the safety of them. As Robin said, we've been developing exosomes as therapeutics. And so we follow that same methodology for our skincare products. So these are screened by the same processes that you would use for a therapeutic and follow all the rules and regulations from the FDA, following the safety of the donor and the exosome itself. And in that process, you want to make sure that they are identifiable as exosomes, that they have a specific and consistent protein expression, that it is a pure exosome isolate, and most importantly, that you can reproduce it over and over again. Also, the stability of the exosome, that is something that we're very proud of and has taken into account over our decades in tissue engineering and biomaterials. You can protect the bioavailability of exosomes in a skincare product, and we have perfected that. One of the other differentiators about our exosomes and our products is that these exosomes are engineered. They're specifically tuned so that their cargo that they deliver delivers bioactive capacity for the skin cells themselves to reactivate their natural regenerative abilities.
So, as Jody said, we got very excited about this because of all of the data, and we continue to advance the science both in the lab as well as clinical studies. And so there are 4 in vitro studies that have looked at the exosomes themselves and these proprietary exosomes, as well as 6 different clinical studies that looks for different markers of everything from holding of moisture, cell renewal, as well as actually anti-aging measures as seen using Visio and other skin topography and Primo to really analyze the skin and see the influence and the changes from using the products. So we're very excited about that, and we'll walk through some of the different studies to show you the data. But I think this is one area that really differentiates exoceuticals from other companies, is sort of the proof, if you will, that both the biological ingredient as well as the entire product has an influence on skin rejuvenation, regeneration, wrinkles, luminosity, and elasticity. And it's been really exciting to be a part of this. So here's a couple of things that I think are key. You know, when you're looking at skincare products, we obviously want collagen production. And by tuning, as Jody said, we tune these exosomes to enhance the function of the skin cells. And what you can see on the right, if you look at this column, these are these engineered exosomes, you're getting a significant higher amount of collagen production from the dermal fibroblasts than you would using TGF-beta1, which is a growth factor that's known for enhancing collagen production, and a lot higher than other exosomes that are not engineered. And so this was a real factor that was exciting to us and part of why we had interest in buying the company. Other preclinical data, which we were very excited about, is the enhancement of skin cell proliferation, the reduction in inflammatory modulatory response to UV light and the environment, and as we said, to induce collagen, fibrinogen, even elastin production, and we look at wound healing. While this isn't necessarily a wound healing product, using a model for wound healing, we were able to see the acceleration of fibroblasts and collagen, and how they would be accelerated using the Exo3 exosomes to close a wound. And so this is some of the data that was done in the lab, which we're very excited about, especially what we see from UV damage. And as everyone knows, I'm sure on this call, that when you have inflammation, you have markers of inflammation. You have IL-8, IL-6, tumor necrosis factor, and you start getting a melanocyte production. And so by treating cells with the Exo3 exosomes, we actually saw a reduction down to normal, down to baseline of all of these factors that was sustainable at 24 hours. So not only is it protective, but we actually saw a restorative effect. Here's an example of a human dermal fibroblast wound model. And you can see here, there's this hole, the sort of gap of where the wound is. And so the question was, would the exosomes, these Exo3 exosomes, be able to close through proliferation of getting the fibroblast to put down collagen and really create this monolayer? And what we saw pretty successfully was within 5 days, the wound closed. And you saw an incredible amount of, mesenchymal communication that caused the exchange of the keratinocytes and the fibroblasts to create the proliferation to reduce and prevent the hypertrophic scarring. And that's really key. You can get wound closure with other exosomes, other products, but you don't want just closure. You don't want to get the hypertrophic scars. You don't want to get keloid formation. You want normal skin cells that will be a platform for growth and for regeneration for the future. And so that's the analogy of the engine, right? You need that layer of normal skin types so that as you grow in age, you have a healthier closure. This is an example of a wound model. This is the dorsum, it's the back of the rat. And you can see where they excised 4 different areas here. And then exosomes were put onto 3 of them. And what was really interesting about this is that not only did the wounds close as compared to the control when giving the exosomes, they closed more quickly. And what we saw is there's hair. So not only did the skin close, but you actually had regrowth of hair coming back to the normal environment from similar to where you started. And so when you look at the speed for wound closure at 19 days, it closed quicker and greater. And it was close to 100% in 19 days. So this was really exciting information and data on how Exo3 exosomes work. And then when you look at the histology, you actually saw, and this is a little bit of a confusing study, and I don't want to spend a lot of time, but I just want to show you, this was normal. A is normal. And so when you treated the wounds with just saline, you got some closure, because with time, we'll all get wound closure, but you don't get the healthy skin back to normal. But when you gave the exosomes, you did. And when you look at the histology, it's really histology that's very consistent with what was the normal tissue to begin with. We could see a greater collagen deposition and organization through the different staining that you had before. So you can see this was normal. You're starting to see this formation and reorganization of tissue over time. So this was using the wound model. We also were able to determine that there's almost a 20% quicker cell renewal. Every month, every 28 days, you get rejuvenation through the renewal, your skins die and you get new skin. So that's the cycle, is a 28-day cycle. And with the exosomes, we were able to show that you actually had this turnover 20% quicker. So for a 2-week treatment period, we showed that, and staining, we were able to show that the using Wood's lamp, that the stained cells disappeared 20% quicker than without using the exosomes. So we always are looking for ways to show it on the lab, the power of the Exo3 exosomes. Then we moved to the actual products themselves, and we measured wrinkle reduction and luminosity after using the product for twice a day for 2 weeks and then 4 weeks. And we used the reverse photo engineering using the Visio scans, and we saw incredible improvement in both wrinkle reduction as well as luminosity. And looking at the photographs before and after, it was very impressive. And people really were excited about the product because they could see the improvement very quickly. We also measured the actual transdermal moisture, and what we saw was after applying the material twice a day, even within a week, the subjects increased from 58% of the hydration of the moisture up to 225%. So it was a tremendously great increase over the 7-day period. And this was done through a moisture meter, which is one of the tests that you can look at moisture changes over time. So, I think these are incredible products, and what's most exciting is people love them. 90% of users agreed their skin felt more hydrated. They saw softness and smoothness in their skin and improvement in texture. And, when you look at the 6 different clinical studies, it really is impressive. And when we bought the company, we repeated some of the clinical studies just to ensure they were reproducible, and the results got better and better. We saw that there was a statistically significant reduction in wrinkles within 1 week. People saw improvement in the crow's feet and wrinkles around the eyes, statistically significant increase in skin firmness, and it was 100%. Statistical significance in both of these measures. Enhanced accelerated skin renewal, the transdermal water retention, which we just shared with you, increase in luminosity, surface hydration, and improving the skin barrier function. And the most exciting thing we found, and it was all great data, and we were happy that we saw such great results, close to 100%. But what we liked about this is that the people that were in the study reported 100% of them said that they felt that their skin, improved their overall appearance, healthier. They felt that they looked younger and that they would recommend it to a friend. So ultimately, you can look at all these measures, but if people don't see the difference, it's not going to make a difference. People won't be sustainable, right? They won't continue to use the product. And we're really excited about the high percentage of people that come back and buy the product more than once. Jody?
So again, all of the statistics and the figures are great, but there was 2 case studies that we wanted to share with you because the pictures, I think, tell the full story. This first patient is an 80-year-old patient that had intractable eczema. I know both of these patients personally, so I can speak to how debilitating these lesions on her legs were. And what was amazing to us, we had assumed that our product would help her, but within a week, she did not have any discomfort. And this is a patient that had been on oral steroids, other oral immunomodulators, and also an injectable immunomodulator in the past that did not touch these lesions on her legs. And you can see that although the baseline doesn't tell the whole story, they were cracked, very plaque-like, scaly, and horribly discomforting to the patient. Within 3 weeks, the skin itself was smooth. The plaques were gone. You can see that there's still a little bit of demarcation where this lesion was on her leg, but there was no discomfort. There was no pain. It wasn't itching. And at 8 weeks, literally you could not see the margin anymore. And this patient still is a complete walking advertisement for us. She still uses the product and you cannot tell where this lesion was. And that to me was amazing because normally you can still see the margin. This other patient had horrible eczema lesions on the back of his knees. And he works in the trades, has to wear knee pads a lot, and never wore pants because he could not stand the friction on the back of his legs. They were cracked, bleeding. He had tried every type of topical, different oral steroids, one type of immunomodulator, but it would always flare back. In this, you can see in just 3 weeks, the remarkable change. And I saw him wearing pants for the first time in all the years I've known him. And, you know, can't believe the change. And it was that quick. Unfortunately, we don't have the next series where you can even see more improvement, but the pictures show you how well this works. And both of these subjects only were using it twice a day, morning and night, just the body cream. One of the other parts, besides the data on the exosomes themselves, both Robin and I have been in the biotech space for a long time, and I'm a biochemist, so I really get into the ingredients and the benefits of different chemicals and extracts and pharmaceuticals. And what is important for us that you know is that we were very thoughtful in what we selected for these products. It's not just let's put everything in there that we think could work. We were very specific about what we picked, and we've even developed some proprietary blends of different botanical extracts from the sea that not only provide nutrients and bioactive molecules, but also are very anti-inflammatory, have antioxidant properties and anti-aging properties. And they're the cornerstone for this biomatrix that enhances the stability of the exosomes as well. One of the other key things, even our packaging was very thoughtfully selected. We use a specific Myron glass that is a biophotonic glass that actually helps in the preservation of the ingredients themselves. So we wanted to make sure that when we did make a product that it actually harnessed all the things we had learned over the past 30 years. And speaking to that stability, not only have we created a formulation that we know stabilizes the exosomes, we've tested that. We've not only tested the stability of the exosomes themselves with fluorescent labeling, but with the exoceuticals products, we have done long-term stability testing. And at this point, it's outside of 5 years. So these are stable, room temperature, shelf-stable products. They do not have to be refrigerated or frozen. They can be used, and we know that they're stable for long periods of time. And that manufacturing process that we stand behind has been validated. It has gone through process validation as if it was a therapeutic. So, you know, the data and the methodologies that we use are really what we stand behind and really got us excited about being part of this.
Great. And so, you know, now there's a new rule from MOCA, the Modernization of the Cosmetic Regulation Act, that all products need to be registered with the FDA. And so all exoceutical products are registered. We also have a registry of adverse events, and we've had none to date. So, you know, that's an important part, I think, of a differentiation. And we were pleased that we were able to get this done so quickly. And not only are the products registered, but we actually have an INCI designation for the active ingredient exosomes, both our allo exosomes and the Exo3 exosomes. And that is something that definitely separates this company from other companies that are out there. So we want to make sure we have time for Q&A, but I'm going to hand this over to Matthew Henniger. Before I do, I just want to point out, we have an incredible world-class advisory board. You know, Jody obviously has been in this industry for a very long time and is leading the efforts. We have David Goldberg, who I'm sure many of you have heard of. He was a founder of some of the lasers and is really a prolific speaker around the world on skincare and dermatology. Randy Miller's had a lot of experience in mesenchymal cell, stem cells, and he's a board certified cosmetic and reconstructive plastic surgeon, and, you know, really does speak around the world on this topic. we always are focused on the skin. It's our largest organ. It's 15% of the body, but there's, you know, other pieces to our body and our health. And so we picked a few people to join the advisory board that we think are critical to the team. Will Lee is a renowned doctor, scientist, author. He is at Harvard and oversees the Angiogenesis Foundation, but he really focuses on nutrition and different ingredients that can be used to impact health. And so obviously, since the skin is such a big part of our organ system, you know, having the dialogue with Will Lee, things to think about, is going to be really important for innovation and new technologies in the future. And then Will Cap is CEO of Fountain Health and is really focused on, he's an orthopedic surgeon, but on longevity and using new disruptive technologies for wellness and anti-aging. And then we have Veronica Gabay, who's a formulator in fragrance. She worked at Estee Lauder for many years and has been a great addition to having us think through a little bit on the retail side of getting our products to the market. I will say, while she was in the fragrance business, we are fragrance free. You know, that's really important to our products and our future, but she's been a great addition to the team. So Matthews, Henniger is the CEO of Exotrope, the company, and really helped redesign and develop the exoceutical products that we have here. And we'll walk you through the individual products, and then we'll open it up for Q&A.
Thank you, Robin. Hi, everyone. Thanks for taking the time to learn about exosomes and hear a little bit about the products that we have developed using exosomes. As you've probably figured out, Robin and Jody are kind of the brains behind this operation. And I'm just here to tell you a little bit about each of the individual product and kind of the storyline of how they came to be. And then we can open up for Q&A. When we acquired the company, there was really only one key product or two key products. There was a body lotion, and then there was the Exoface Perfection Moisturizer. Since then, we've done a lot of work to further the development of those products, but then also add additional SKUs. We now have 7 separate SKUs, and I think what really sets us apart as a business and as a brand in the marketplace is all of our products have exosomes. So we're not a skincare company with a selection of products with maybe one exosome product. Each and every product has its own exosome formula. So the first product you see on your screen here is what we call ExoH serum, which is our hyaluronic acid treatment. I think what makes this product stand out in the marketplace is this one has 7 different molecular weights of hyaluronic acid combined with the exosomes and the next-gen naturals that Jody had mentioned earlier, the botanicals. So really amazing product. It's literally our best-selling product. The product is a very silky feeling, non-sticky, and works extremely well. We have a lot of great reviews from the product. Next slide. Robin?
Trying, sorry. It's not moving. There.
Okay, so this is our vitamin C product. We call it Exo C Serum Vitamin C Treatment. Again, it's a combination of products, our vitamin C. We do use a very special blend of 3 different types of vitamin C. They are derivatives, but what makes them interesting is they all bioconvert 100% into natural and active vitamin C. So there's no need to simply load up with a high dose of harsh vitamin C. These are very mild, but very effective because they're delivered with the Exo3 exosomes that make this product very, very effective. Another one of our better selling products, lightening the skin, great for after sun use, an amazing product. This again, blend of vitamin C's, hyaluronic acid, and Exo3 exosomes. This was the kind of the product that started it all, and that where a lot of the studies were done. It's our primary moisturizer. We call it Exoface Perfection Moisturizer. Exo3 exosomes, of course. Great blend of that with coconut oil and a whole blend of other oils. Coconut oil, macadamia oil, eucalyptus oil, and grapeseed oils are the key kind of hydrating blend within product. And of course, hyaluronic acid, and then the next gen natural botanicals. super hydrating. It goes into your skin immediately, absorbs immediately, and is not a sticky, fragrance-free, not greasy. Amazing product. Next. This is the product that we've developed for men, very similar in formulation to Exo Face, with a few little differences. There's a higher concentration of fatty acids. There's a higher concentration of alatin. Exo3 exosomes. The formulation's a little different because, of course, men's skin could be a little thicker, produces more sebum, and the product was developed to work well for men. Guys love this product. We get all kinds of reports of lightening up of the skin, the dark spots on the skin of men. They love it as believe it or not, as an aftershave product, because when they shave, sometimes it irritates their skin. You put this on and your skin goes immediately smooth and it lasts, for the day. Really, really love this product. Next. This is what we call Exo Plus. This is our anti-aging cream. And this one is an amazing product. It's a much thicker, richer consistency than you'll find in our other products. This also has our highest concentration of exosomes compared to the other products. And Robin, you might want to touch on that. I think it's a really interesting tidbit that we do. We've learned, or Robin has learned, that there's there's kind of a magic math to the amount of exosomes that are used in products. There's kind of, once you get to a certain point, there's kind of a bell curve of diminishing returns. So you don't want to overload products with exosomes, and we're kind of at that level with Exo Plus. This is literally our highest concentration of exosomes of any of our products. Exo Sun. This is an amazing product that we came out with this year. We're really excited about. When we introduced the product, we introduced it as an after sun treatment. And this product has a proprietary blend of Exo3 exosomes and plant-based Aloe3 exosomes. So it's a combination of two different types of exosomes. And the idea was to use this for after being in the sun. And we get reports daily of people that just love this product for many different uses. One, you go in the sun, you get some sunburn. Or just you're out there too long, you put this on immediately and you feel some relief and the hydration come back into your skin. But what we've learned from a lot of our resellers or our wholesale customers is that are like med spas or doctor's offices, is they're using this as a post-treatment product. After someone gets maybe a microdermabrasion or something, they're using this product to help soothe the skin before the patient goes home. Next. And this is our body lotion. This is the original Exo Body. Fantastic product, super silky, super hydrating. Lather it on. People just love this product. The reviews are fantastic. So that is our quick review of the collection. People are taking notice. We've been featured in many different publications and even interviewed on different programs. And we hope to continue to grow. So thank you for taking the time. And Robin, there's a summary page for you to tell the folks.
Perfect. So I think in summary, before we get to Q&A, exoceutical products bring the building blocks for regeneration, rejuvenation of skin. It's backed by a lot of science, a lot of data. As Jody said, that it's really been manufactured state-of-the-art facilities to show that they're safe, that there's consistency, purity, stability, and they're really products that you can stand behind and be excited, to use and give to your patients or clients. It's produced under very strict guidelines, all the FDA safety and quality requirements, and we've shown stability of the products to over 5 years. And best of all, patients and people who are using the products just love them and are really happy. So it's really fun to constantly hear all the different reports and see how excited people are about the products. So maybe I'll open up to Q&A from the audience.
Yeah, that would be great. Do you actually do you see the questions, Robin, or would you like me to tell you the questions?
No, I think I can see.
And we have a raised hand from George Shapiro. So
All right, let's start with George. Does George want to comment?
Hi, George. You
Hi,
there?
how are you? I can
Hi,
comment.
George.
So
Hi,
just for
George.
the audience, how do you get the exosomes into a cream? What's the process? Is it a plant-based, human-based? What's the process to get it into the cream?
Jody, do you want to take that?
Sure. Well, there's both, George. We have both plant and the human Exo3 exosomes. It essentially, it goes back to, again, tissue engineering and the use of human biomaterials. There is a way to stabilize exosomes in a 3D matrix, a matrisome, and that's essentially these exosomes that are encapsulated within the matrisome of the emulsion of the cream. And we have demonstrated the stability of both types in that delivery method, if you will.
Thanks, Jody. And the other thing was when the interleukins, what interleukins are in the creams that really affect the way the inflammation is reduced?
So we have a whole profile that I think it would be easier if, we shared that versus like going down the list of them. But there is a consistent protein expression. It's a protein potency expression that, has been characterized, and that it's one of the ways that we maintain the release of the exosomes themselves. So there is a specific protein characterization that has to do with the expression of not only those interleukins, but other cytokines, other growth factors, and protein expression that, again, comes back to why we were very particular with the source, because not all exosomes have that same protein expression potency.
What's really interesting is as the Chief Medical Innovation Officer of Fountain Life, we have many patients who are using these creams. They're seeing tremendous results. And one of the benefits that I see is it naturally increases fibroblast to make hyaluronic acid to naturally, which is instead of injecting it like a filler like Restylane or Radius, it does it naturally. So I think it's a blockbuster product. It's changing the way that biologics are being used aesthetically. So, I'm grateful to you and Robin and your whole team for creating a product that's been so overwhelmingly positive for all of our patients that we've been seeing.
Thank you.
George. So just a couple of questions that come up. So we are working on some additional products, which you'll hear about soon. We are looking at a hair growth product. We're doing this with Zeo Scientific, and we're very excited. The one thing I will tell you is there is an optimal dose of using these for hair growth that we've looked at the papilla. And so we're excited, again, having this specific signature, if you will, of the product of the exosomes and what amount should be used for hair growth. And so we think there's a lot of opportunity for both, not just for skin, but for hair as well. And we'll have more to share with that in the future. Maybe Jill will invite us back and we could do another webinar, talk a little bit about hair.
Absolutely. We will definitely continue the conversation.
And kind of
Fantastic.
along those lines, the one of the questions that came through was about the amount of exosomes. The best analogy that I can think of is the volume. It doesn't help if the volume of something is so high that you can't hear it. And there is a specific volume at which the cells must receive the message. And if the volume is too high or too low, they receive the message differently. And we've studied that not only in our preclinical work with exosomes, but also with cells. There is diminishing returns when the volume is too high. And it's more of a scream instead of the way that the cell needs to hear the message.
And I think, you know, that's one thing that makes our product different than other products of the just sort of growth factors and proteins that are out there, is the exosomes are the signals. They're giving the cargo and the message. And so you want to be very careful that that message is adequately received. And so there are sort of dose you know, specific doses that should be used in the products, and the years of research, we think we perfected that, and we always will continue with new products to be sure we're using the right amount. More is not always better.
And Jody, this is Jill. I have a question for you, and this is something that I field quite a bit with practitioners. And I don't need we don't need necessarily have to get into the specifics with competitive products, but is there, can you speak to what is out there? There's only a handful, but you know, in comparison to like how far apart is exoceuticals from the different, you know, Benev products, the quite a few. I just general, if you will.
So the similarity is that they're exosomes, and exosomes versus peptides or growth factors have a GPS. They target directly, specifically to the skin cell and deliver directly to the cell. So that's what's unique about exosomes versus other bioactives, where you need the bioactive to penetrate and then it has to find its way. An exosome will deliver it right to the cell that is requiring it, and it is in this protective bilayer. It knows where to go and it delivers the cargo. The difference and differentiator between our exosomes versus the others is how we manufacture them, the methodology, that specific tuning. So the message has been tuned to directly target the root cause of skin aging. So there's a difference between naive exosomes versus engineered, if you will, exosomes. They have a very specific cargo, and that is something that we developed, and it is specific to the targets of skin aging and skin repair.
Okay,
So
excellent.
we've had a couple of questions about wholesale pricing and where we can get the products. So I'm excited that people are excited about the products. There's one thing I want to point out that I think is important is the pricing of the products has been done in a way that it really gives a much bigger upside than other products for the retailers to sell. So the wholesale pricing gives a very large margin where people can make a lot of money in their offices. And I think that's a really important point as compared to some of the other products that are out there. And so what I'll suggest to do is, people were invited to this webinar by different individuals, but I would say if you have questions, I just want to put up from the screen for a few minutes just so that people can see. Please call Tammy at Zeo Scientific. Here's her email and her number. If Jessica Eckling invited you to the call, you know, please follow up with her. And if you were invited to the call by anyone else, follow up with them. They have the wholesale pricing. They have new forms for people who want to become wholesalers to get into the system. And we're really excited you know, to share information about the company, the products. There'll be more in the future, more products coming out. And we'd love to hear the feedback and make you part of the exoceutical family.